Okay, so today SPY had a pretty decent move, up $10 on the day. Now I'm going to tell you there's a few concerns out there, and there's a few things regarding news from Trump and the Fed that were just announced on the day. I will say Trump's side is seeming more and more bullish. The Fed, they are digging their heels in the dirt right now, and I think we could be up for a battle. But in the short term, it's looking like buyers are taking a little bit of control. Now, a few things that we mentioned here going into from the weekend and on Sunday. Now, if you go into NASDAQ, what did you want to see? We wanted to see this level right here break and hold above this area. If you were in the pre-market live, we're live every morning here on the channel at basically 7:30 a.m. Central, but right about here, basically 20,100. I also post this on Twitter. The link is down below. You get above that, you're looking for a push into 20,300 and then 20,400. It's also worth mentioning every single day I call out everything that we're looking for before market even opens inside of Discord as well, so you guys can see. And again, this morning we were talking about futures, what was happening. The NASDAQ, where it opened up, you're looking for a push into 20,460, and then also if you push down below 20,280, you're looking for the downside. All your levels mentioned out there as well, and overall showing you the path of where we moved and going throughout the day as well. Now, one of the stocks you looked at for going long today was Amazon. So if you go back into here, giving you an idea of how we trade and what we're looking for, you go into Amazon. We looked at this on the day going into this morning, again way back over here. Amazon trying to mount, you get above this level 201, you're looking for 203 to 204. You ended up pushing up there immediately. The next trade I was looking for was Apple to the downside, but you had to get a hold below 218.9. And if you look at Apple, look at the hold that you had all day. It was right there at our level. And again, you ended up getting buyers on Apple at the end of the day. So we never got to go short on Apple, but you can see basically you sat there and then eventually bounced. But I was looking for the downside. If you got below that, you would have dropped easy. Didn't get that trade, just didn't play out. Jay had a few trades on Tesla and Nvidia as well. So going into the NASDAQ, what were we looking at? And again, what happened? You broke above, you pushed up with ease right into our levels, and you're trying to still push up here in the after hours. Now, SPY is more interesting when you look at what's happening because you're getting above the 200 SMA. You had a nice open, kind of came back down, and buyers held you up for the remainder of the day. Now, where things get interesting is when we look at what's happening from Trump, and I'm going to go over to the fundamentals, and we'll go back to the charts here in a second. So when you look at what Trump is saying, Trump, again, and it seems like the market is doing what we thought. The market is, in my opinion, right? My opinion is the market is pricing in a Trump bluff. I think the market is not expecting Trump to go full send with tariffs and cause market pain. And I think the Fed is for sure calling Trump's a bluff. The Fed has said, we do not see rate cuts right now. There's no reason to cut rates. And we even had worse news today from the Fed when you go down and look at it. This is all on Twitter, so you can go check this out. But again, Fed Bostic said, I was at 2 rate cuts this year. Now I only see 1. So from the last Fed meeting to right now, he changed from 2 rate cuts to only 1. I will say Bostic is a known hawk. He's like, if you're a bear, you love Bostic. So I will say he seems a little biased towards the downside and very cautionary, but again, what are you looking at there? Now, Trump on the day was it was interesting over the weekend because the subject changed from Trump targeting basically everything broad, like you're just going to tariffs on China, everything from Russia, everything from EU, etc. That was the expectation based on what Trump had said. Now, going into today, things changed. You go into Twitter. Again, I was very clear with everything we were looking at here, everything that happened. Now, number one, he said, he's going to announce tariffs on the next few days on auto, lumber, and chips, but mainly chips is the most interesting part. But it was known over the weekend that chips were not going to be involved in the initial phase on April 2nd tariffs. At least that's what is being pushed out to everyone right now, and that's what the market is pricing in, okay? Then the second part of this is Trump, literally right before this, he says, we may give a lot of countries breaks on tariffs. So again, it's a flip-flop back and forth from Trump. And if you're in the game of trying to predict what Trump is going to say tomorrow and the next day, you're in a losing game, right? I've been saying that here on the channel. You can't predict what the man's going to say. It's virtually impossible. So again, that's where the market continues to price in this because it seems like it's getting easier and easier. But what I will say is just from experience, we go back to last month, look what happened, right? We weren't going to tariff. We were going to tariff Mexico and Canada. Then we gave them a week grace period. And then the market priced and he started bouncing. And then we've actually tariffed them and sellers got very involved. We could be looking at a similar situation. So I think it's important going into April 2nd, you're trading each day for what it is, right? I'm not going into it with the mentality the bottom is set. I'm going long, blind longs, blind longs, blind longs. Because even despite your decent action and I would say bulls having more control on the day, you really didn't do much. And I think you have to look at futures to get a better viewpoint. This is when markets open right here, okay? right there. Basically right here. This is like when market's open and then how you trade for the remainder of the day. You basically push up to like 20,315 and then you range for 60 points on the NASDAQ for the remainder of the day. I will also say this is the least movement that you've gotten on the NASDAQ intraday. Like there's no real movement here. It was funny. People in Discord are like, man, you're getting crazy movement. I'm like, no, you're not. You're not. You're getting 100-point candles previous few days. Now, again, the part that I will say is like that looks really good is, well, guess what? You saw a lot of pre-market movement from 20,120 into 20,003, right? And then ultimately in 20,004 where you're at now. But it's important that, this was good in the after hours. The problem is during market hours, it doesn't seem like America is getting on ship, right? We're not jumping on board. We're not hammering calls. There's still some uncertainty out there. Okay, that's my problem. And you see it with volume, right? Now, again, I don't think you need to see volume every single time you get upside or you get downside. You don't need to. What you want to see is higher volume on breakouts. And I will say this again. This was a nice little breakout here above 20,120 little range we were in. But the real breakout on the NASDAQ to confirm bulls are back to being full bull, options dated, swing trading makes sense again for the upside, is back above your 200 SMA. That's the big level. And I don't care if we're late to the party. I don't care. I'll still trade the upside. Like today we traded Amazon upside in Discord. I don't care about intraday trading, but I'm talking about swing trading, the big win, things like that. That's where things get interesting. Now, if you're buying stock, of course, you buy stock, you forget about it, you hold. But there's a difference. I was telling people in the live stream this morning is that there's a difference between a long-term trader and a short-term trader. If I'm a short-term trader, and again, if you want to understand what type of trader you are, go look at your trades and look how long they last, right? They're lasting shorter than 20 minutes. You're a scalper. That's what you are. Not me saying it. It's your trade saying it. So if you look at this and you're going to that mentality and all you care about is the next day, the next day, the next day, then if you don't really care about a fundamental viewpoint. You just wake up, look at the charts, and that's really it. You don't really care. So again, it's understanding the difference. And I think for stock, this has been a great buying opportunity on names like NVIDIA, which I talked about in yesterday's video or the weekday before that. So again, there's big opportunities out there. Take advantage of what you will. So that's where you're at right now. Now going into SPY and what's happening there. Again, similar action. Like all things considered, go to the 15-minute. You can really see here. Again, great move up. Like, awesome. Like you get a $10, you're up $10 today on SPY. And what part of that is, from, just the gap, right? 564 basically into 571, almost $6 is all from pre-market, not even action. Now you look from basically market open on, and again, you're basically sitting in this box here, right? A $3 range back and forth, which I'm not complaining about or saying is bad. I'm just saying you're getting a bulk of that move in the pre-market. And you're not getting that follow through just yet. But I will say, nevertheless, you had opportunities for sellers to get involved. You didn't even test VWAP intraday on the day. Like that's worth you haven't had a day like that in a while on NASDAQ to the downside as well, to where you haven't even tested VWAP. So also very interesting, something to think about is that today, like overall, buyers just held you up. Sellers didn't even get involved. So again, that is a good note to take if you are a bull, you're looking for an upside, things along those lines. Now, I don't think you're out of the woodworks. I don't think everything is cured. I don't think everything is fixed. Because again, if this is becoming the baseline of the Fed, which it is totally possible that this is becoming the baseline of the Fed's like, we're not cutting rates. As long as unemployment is sitting fine, as far as inflation is where it's at, we're not cutting rates unless we have to, or there's a sign of worry and concern, right? And if that's becoming the issue, then you have to start taking a step back and thinking about, well, what's going to happen next and what's the bullish catalyst for the market? Like, are tariffs the bullish catalyst? Is it earnings? Is it growth on GDP? That's the real question out there. And if you start to get more revisions towards the downside, because again, the Fed said Atlanta or Michigan GDP expectations are the outlier. If you just see the other, or I think maybe it was Atlanta, you see them coming out with different revisions on GDP for lower guidance, then it's the question of, well, what's the bullish viewpoint? So again, that's my opinion, what I'm looking at. What has really changed in the market as far as fundamentally, it's that Trump does appear to be backing down from some of his tariff claims. But I will say, this is a day-by-day scenario, right? The Fed says, well, we'll react to what we get. I am telling you, react to what you get when it comes to Trump, because again, he can change on the drop of a dime, right, guys? This is like he's changing literally as we speak, right? And he'll just come out and tweet something. So who knows? So again, that's my opinion. Fundamentally, what's happening there right now, overall, right? And so we'll see more on April 2nd and get more clarity, but that's where we're at. So looking at the market as a whole, where are we at? Where are we going? If you continue to hold above 20,208, my little intraday level here, I'm looking for 20,460. Above that, you have room back towards 20,670. And then really the 200 SMA is your big test. Going into Dow's very close. I would suspect that Dow gets a push towards 43.1. I'm surprised you didn't get that today intraday. Probably to do with the fact that NASDAQ and the rest of the indexes didn't get love. And again, buyers just weren't crazy on the market. So again, probably what happened, but that's where we're at right now. ES did test VWAP. That is worth mentioning. You go to ES, you can see S&P futures test VWAP. So it was a bit choppy, but that's where we're at there on the day. Okay. Now, when we go more into sectors and what we're looking at overall, again, SMH, pretty big. This is worth mentioning. Now, SMH did not end the day strong. I will say that. So a few things here on SMH. Basically, since March 17th, you've hit this brick wall of 231. 227 was a big level, but you're above that, so that's good. And then the next thing here is you go to the 4 hour and you look, and you're below this SR flip, right, where you were bouncing at 233, basically going back into November. You just kept bouncing, and eventually you broke. So you're at resistance on semiconductors, and what's happening there? The question is can you break through? And again, this is why I said chips are so important, because today you saw decent action on NVIDIA, and then at the end of the day, you kind of sold off here, which was very strange that the NASDAQ broke to the upside and then NVIDIA dipped down. So again, NVIDIA kind of gapped up, had really good movement for the first hour and 30 minutes, and then did nothing at highs, right? This was a resistance 121.8, but that's where you're at. Again, weird action. You go look at AVGO, you gap up, and you only had downside here. We looked for the gap fill for the better part of the day, talked about this in Discord, but again, that's all you really had. And you filled the gap and kept going down. Apple was your bright side near the end of the day, but it's worth mentioning when you look at these charts, again, the more you look at equities, you'll see is you kind of got upside and then nothing really happened. There was no continuation, no sign of buyers. The only real stock that ran for a better part of the day was Tesla. Tesla was the name that just kind of didn't slow down, but we know Tesla can just go by itself. I will say Tesla right now as well, you are looking for the 200 SMA touch. That's what you're looking for right now. That's clear as day, okay? Now, from this, what else am I looking at as well? I mentioned Amazon. Amazon above 201. I think I mentioned in yesterday's video as well. You're looking for 204, 203. You're kind of just chilling here. It looks okay. But again, we're not seeing any signs of anything with that continuation just yet. The other part of the market that looks interesting is, again, and something that I am kind of staying away from in the short term, is IWM and mid caps. They look decent, right? They look like they want to try to break back out, push back towards 214, 215. Interesting. And you have next level right here at 211, give or take. You go look at names like HIMS. Again, strong day, strong day. Palantir pushing back towards 100, which we talked about yesterday as well. As long as you're above 85, you're looking for that push back into 99, 100. Go look at Hood. Now, all these names pretty strong. This is actually the most surprising part. Shopify, another name that looks good. I can go on a laundry list, right? They're all kind of just finding buyers. I haven't looked at Upstart, but yeah, strong day, go figure. It's just all mid caps, right? All mid caps are looking pretty solid. So this is one of the interesting parts, is that mid caps are finding buyers. Now the question is it a relief bounce? Is it a dead cat? Do we see more continuation? So I need to get more information. I need to see another day of this action. We can't really judge the buying and really say, is this really coming into the market? Is this continuation? Until we get another day. If we need more data, we need more information, just like to the downside, right? You get one down day, you can't be a bear. You get, multiple down days, you get below 200 SMA, things start to change, right? So that's my visual and what I'm looking at. I will say, this is kind of what you wanted to see. My question mark now is, can semiconductors start to bounce? Because NVIDIA has a clear path towards the 200 SMA retest. That is there, okay? Now, if volume stays this dry from buyers, I do think it's going to be a tough battle. I really do. Because again, look at the action here on NASDAQ. And this is something that I think you have to think about, is you basically were testing highs of the day, 20,370 on NASDAQ since 10 a.m. this morning. And you just couldn't break. You had 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15-minute candles of just struggle at that level. And again, these rejections here weren't ideal. So again, watch what's happening here. Be aware. As long as you're grinding above VWAP, holding above 20,280, I'm looking for more of a bounce. I really am towards 20,460. But again, no reason to jump the gun. No reason to blindly hold calls, go crazy, anything like that. So again, just my visual, what I'm looking at. And I will say, from the tariff news today, Dow definitely took the bad end of it. It got hit the worst, but it did bounce back near the end of the day. So I'm curious how Dow responds as well. It's very close to its 200 SMA, and that's just my overall visualization of the market right now. Okay, so if you have questions, let me know. I also do want to add in, guys, if you guys are interested, I've been pretty big about this, but I posted a video on my second channel this weekend, if you guys caught it or not. Again, so I just want to make this really clear for you all. So I've been really trying to hammer home futures. If you guys are interested, things like that, trying to like educate more on that, you guys can go check out my second channel. It's Tyler Wilson OD. You can see all the information there. But again, this is the channel. And so this is the video where I went over basically what's happening there. And so if you guys are like, I keep saying trading options, like you have to be kind of like selective with what you're looking at. So like when I'm looking at like names like Amazon, like when we get above 201, like I see the long opportunity, right? Because you have $3 of up to $3 of upside. Like the scalp makes sense. But when I'm looking at these other names and you're not really moving, you're not getting continuation, you don't have a big runway. Like Meta was a good name this morning as well. If you were in the live stream, we said above 610, you had room into basically the 100 SMA and you rejected. But after that, you only have like a few option plays. Like, so if you stay in the market and you keep trying to trade this, you're probably gonna get chopped up. Like, you're probably gonna lose money. Whereas if you're trading futures, you have more of an opportunity, which again is how most of these guys in Discord are really making their money, like especially during days like this. So if you look at the gains of the 600, whatever it may be, going on and on and on. I think Chef today, he was actually his first day with it. He said right here, 2,000 just off of trading, getting his account funded, right? So if you guys are interested, I recommend My Fun Futures. The link is in is in the bio down below. Use code HEFE for your discount. I recommend the starter accounts. It's the best way to get involved. But if you guys just want to learn more about like kind of what's going on there, what I'm doing, what I'm looking at overall, again, this video right here, the one I just posted on my second channel, is a great explanation, like A to Z, like course, and what's prop firms are, how you can risk less money, how I made money on mine, how Jay made money in his. And I'm doing more of this education on future trading and prop firms on my second channel. It's really to answer all the questions. So if you guys want to learn for free, and most of this education can lean right back into options trading as well. Again, I post videos like every week over there. So again, I'm trying to I don't want there to always be a paywall, right? I don't want people to say, oh, I have to pay for Discord to get any assistance or help. No, it's not what I want to do, right? Now, I'm not going to work with you one-on-one and get on a call with you. That's crazy. That's actually wild. But YouTube does offer a medium to where I can have free stuff for you guys as well. So take advantage of that. Link for everything is down below for Discord. Again, you get to find this one yourself. Tyler Wilson OD is my second YouTube channel. I appreciate everyone. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Good luck trading, and I'll be live tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m. Central.